Hello, hello, everyone. We are back for some walking. Back off my break. Hope everyone's doing well. We are going to be walking on Ovington Avenue, which is right where I'm turning right now. That is the route that I have decided to pick. This is a stretch of road that's very quirky. Well, I don't want to say very quirky, but it's quirky. And when we're about 3/4 of the way through the walk, you'll understand why. So we'll just leave it at that. Very nice day out today. It is 65 degrees out. And just a very nice day for November. Now, before I talk about Ovington Avenue, I will say this is the block that the tornado hit in 2006. But the trees have recovered, so it's very hard to see any signs of it. But I remember vividly what this block looked like literally right after it happened, because I had gotten caught out in that tornado on the 69th Street Pier. And yeah, at the time we didn't think it was a tornado. It turned out it was an F2. And it came down this block and did some damage, knocked out a lot of the trees on the other side of the block. But looks like all is well. You can see over here is where a lot of those trees were knocked. Those are the newer trees. I guess they just planted them recently. But there was a lot of trees that had gotten taken out over here. Even these trees here that you see we're walking by, there was some damage, but they have since recovered over the years. And then there's 3rd Avenue here, which has a little bit of history to it, tied to the Revolution. This area was where one of the first skirmishes happened between the British and the Colonial Army. British Army was marching from the south up towards Greenwood Cemetery, and they wound up meeting fierce resistance here. And eventually what would happen is the Colonial Army would continue to retreat back and consolidate, and eventually ends up at Battle Hill. And that's where the famous Battle Hill happened. We're crossing 3rd Avenue right now. All right, we are going to be walking down this Ovington Avenue. Ovington is the name of a family, I guess a very well-to-do family back in the day that had a very large farm in the area. The original road that we're walking on was a dirt road, I believe it was called Cedar Lane, and then eventually in the 1800s this became Ovington Avenue. And one of the main reasons they say was to connect the town of the Ovington Village to the West End line. Back in those days was called the Brooklyn Railroad. And that is where the walk is going to end. It's So Ovington Avenue is going to lead us right to, the West End line is going to lead us right to the L on the Utrecht Avenue. Got a lot of these walk-up stone flights. This church coming up on the corner of 4th was also hit by the tornado. I'll show it to you when I get down there. You can kind of see it now on my left side. And when we get over there, I'll show you the stained glass window got blown out. That big stained glass window that you see was another casualty of the tornado. Of course, they replaced it. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to replace it at one point. It was boarded up for some time. Speaking of the tornado, I keep mentioning the tornado. It traveled pretty much from Staten Island, went over the harbor. I remember seeing it coming towards us. It didn't look like a tornado, it was a wedge. It just looked like a very dark wall of rain. Luckily, we were able to get into an area where we didn't get, blown out into the ocean. It was still a very hectic 3 minutes. I'll never forget it. There's the church. You can see the stained glass window. What I remember that day was it was actually a very sunny day. It was in the afternoon. I want to say it was around 5 o'clock. There was nothing. They did have like a forecast of thunderstorms that afternoon, but it was nothing like what we expected. And it just went from sunny to dark all of a sudden, and the next thing you know, there's this big wall of gray blue coming towards us. There's actually a great video on YouTube. If you look at the Brooklyn tornado 2006, there's a guy who's filming it from the vantage point of where we were.
Everyone's invited.
And you could see it coming across the harbor and everything disappearing in its path. But it ends up traveling pretty far down, ended up going through Leif Erikson Park and knocking out all the trees.
كيما خرجتي من الدار جيتي ديريكت ولا درتي ديريكت ها وانا وهنايا ها وانا كيف السكون.
Got some old homes over here. Over here you got this old garage style. These are old garages in there. Looks like they're going to tear them down and put something. And then you got this really old looking building, home that's been around for a long time. I think it recently sold. I don't know if recently, but it at one point sold in recent memory for like $1 million. One point, maybe more than that, but.
So she is the same exact thing.
You have this home right here that's still got the original land. And right here we got 5th Avenue. We got to get across. And when I get across 5th Avenue, I'll talk about the quirky things we're going to hit along the way. It is a Sunday. It is Around 3:30ish, maybe. I'm just guessing. I mean, the sun is still up, so it's definitely not 4:30. And we started on Ridge Boulevard. We're going to end at 15th Avenue. It's pretty much the entire distance. But the interesting thing about Ovington Avenue is right now we are on, it's replacing what would be 70th Street. Okay, so the way it works is as we get further down and we cross Interstate 278, we go over that overpass, which is a few blocks down from here. Ovington Avenue is going to cease to exist. It's going to turn into 70th Street. But then what we're going to do is we're going to make a left. And we're going to go down to 68th Street. And we're going to get on 68th Street. And we're going to walk down 68th Street. And eventually 68th Street is going to become Ovington Avenue again. So why that's the case, I don't know. But from what I've heard through the years and passed down to me is that before the grid that's around this area was put down, this was the original road. And where Interstate 278 is, there was like a little bit of a crook to the left and then back to the right. So it was like a little curve, little S curve, and it continued down. But you know, since then, it's now you have to go down over the overpass and then make a sharp left and then a sharp right. But when we get down to 68th Street, it'll become Ovington Avenue again eventually. I can't remember where it happens again. I think it's around Fort Hamilton Parkway. That's why over the years, when we do like the walks on like 3rd Avenue, or I do some of the walks and we pass Ovington Avenue and we cross, I always say this is an odd street or an odd, you know, road. Now you know why. It's just odd the way it's laid out. And we're getting close to the overpass. What we'll do is we will cross over now because we got to get over to that side anyway. We got to get across. Well, I don't know what you would call it. I have my own terms, but you got to cross 7th Avenue West and 7th Avenue East. Because one's heading westbound. This is heading westbound. And the other one's... Well, here's the thing. It's actually... This is heading westbound. And then the next one we're going to cross on the other side of the overpass is... It's heading east, even though it's heading towards the city, because right now we're heading south.
This is my guitar.
This is the, I guess you could say, the Gowanus BQE Interstate 278. There's so many different names for this thing. They're interchangeable. All right, so what we're going to do here is go left to 68th Street. A lot of streets get cut off by the parkway down there, so like this over here is Ridge Avenue, which would be 69th Street. Oh look, we got some toys. I guess they're giving them away. I like that robot. It looks like a Batman. Actually, it's a Batman. Should take it. Yeah, you'll walk around a lot of these neighborhoods. Let's see if this guy stops. Yeah, he's stopping. I had a feeling he wasn't going to stop. But you'll walk around a lot of these streets and you'll find some of these houses. They just put stuff out and basically say, take me. I ain't gonna lie, there is a stench right now that is just horrific. All right, it's better now. Holy. I'm not gonna describe what it smelled like, so use your imagination. It was bad. So a couple things, we are walking in two neighborhoods. We just left, technically we just left Bay Ridge. Well, you know what, we're still in Bay Ridge. But for all intents and purposes, when we get, down to Fort Hamilton Parkway soon, we will be in Dyker Heights. We're right on the edge of Dyker Heights and Borough Park and Sunset Park here. This to my left, a couple blocks over, is considered Sunset Park, Brooklyn. And we are on 68th right now. Over there is Leif Erikson Park that I was talking about earlier. You can see how far the tornado I was mentioning earlier has traveled. It travels pretty far. I think it ended up lifting somewhere around apparently it kind of curved east and northeast and ended up somewhere around South Slope over by Prospect Park. At some point, though, this will turn back into Ovington Avenue. We're going to be walking right by the... We should be walking right by the old Fort Wayne Theater House. Oh man, there's a lot of bugs. I'm getting attacked. Oh, I'm gonna have to remind myself to yank. Man, there's a lot of bugs over here. I gotta yank my shirt out before I walk in the door. I don't want any of these bugs getting inside my house. You got these gnats. They normally are nesting for the winter, and when it gets warm this time of year, they all come out because it gets too hot for them and confuses them, and they think, oh, it's time to go out and play. This is 9th Avenue. We've walked this. This is the end of 9th Avenue. 9th Avenue pretty much ends here. To my right on the next block. And that right there is the old Fort Way. I went to many movies in that movie house when I was younger. This is where 9th Avenue ends, right here. Looks like we got some cats over here. Looks like that little cat huts here. Look, they got little cat houses. I wonder if it's friendly. Nah, it's definitely a little skittish. Feral cats. They get fed over here. They're probably useful to the neighborhood to keep all the rodents away. Here is Fort Hamilton Parkway. All right, so we're still 68th Street, so because I see the sign over there, it says 68. So eventually it will change, I promise. I'm not lying to you. But you could imagine if somebody needed directions, even somebody that lives in the area that's never been down Ovington Avenue would get very confused. They would get very confused the moment they see the street change, or if they even notice if the street changes. Oh, I remember now. We have to actually, yeah, so we have to make another turn. I'm remembering it now. And which reminding me is the crook here. So you see in front of us, like directly in front of us, you could see the sidewalk on the next block. That's because the street doesn't line up. And we're gonna make another left. So, yep. So that's where Ovington Avenue continues. And that's where it pretty much begins again. Like I said, the grid down here is odd. I don't know, the city planner must have been drunk on the day he wrote this out. Look at the street, it doesn't even line up. That's the sidewalk in front of us. Okay. I gotta wait here. Oh, you know what? I don't even have to turn. Look at that right here. So, okay. So there you go. See, even I got a little turned around. See? So this is Ovington again. So now we're back on Ovington. It's been a while since I've been walking down this road. Now, for the rest of the way, we'll be fine, and then it will end. So it won't end. The road will continue. It'll become 68th Street again. But from here to the train tracks is now considered Ovington Avenue again. And that's why it gets really confusing. I guess the Ovington name was so important that they just couldn't change it to 68th Street. So, you know, who knows? That house is pretty set back. Little parking lot in the front. Let's get back across the street because I want to show you some of these homes. It's a lot easier to see from here. Just a strange arrangement of homes. That home right there, that property looks kind of strange. Looks like somebody just stuffed it in there, in between the apartment building and the small house over here. Some kids over here. We are on 11th Avenue. We are ending on 15th. Nice little walk coming back to the channel. See the sign up there says Ovington still, so we're still on Ovington Avenue. We're in Dyker Heights now, so this is the north side of my neighborhood. This is the furthest north you can go into Dyker Heights before you end up in Borough Park, which is just a couple of blocks over to my left. And I live on the other end of Dyker Heights. I live on the south end. The southwest end. I'm at the very end of Dyker Heights. I'm literally, it's funny because like right now we're in the very north end and then I live on the very south end. We got some Thanksgiving decorations. Thanksgiving is a week and a half away. We haven't seen a lot of Christmas decorations though. There are Christmas decorations going up, I can tell you that much. I've seen it, in my neighborhood, of course. A lot of the big houses in Dyker Heights it takes them a while to decorate, so that's why they start out early. You may walk in the neighborhood and see them during the day. The lights are up, but don't expect the lights to go on. I know a lot of the houses, they will put everything up, test it, and the lights will stay out until the night before Thanksgiving. I know Lucy turns her, she turns her house on Wednesday night. Next Wednesday night, it should be on. Right? Am I correct that next week is? I'm just thinking next week is Thanksgiving, right? Because we're so late now. Yeah, next week is Thanksgiving. It's 12th Avenue. We got this scaffolding here, so we're gonna. I don't want to walk under a scaffolding. Now this over here, when we get past this building over here, you're gonna, the sidewalk property really opens up. I'm not sure if this is a school over here or whatever it looks like, but there's a school to my right across the street to my left where the scaffolding is. Is this look like housing or something, or I guess we'll find out in a second. It looks like a school. We'll find out in a second. Interesting that I don't know. Well, it's been a long time since I've been down here, so I don't really know. Oh, it's a rehab center. Look at that, Norwegian Christian Home and Health Center. I happen to be half Norwegian. I am not totally Italian. Little unknown fact that a lot of people don't know about me. I am half Norwegian. My mother's side is the Norwegian side. My father's side is the Italian side. Thirteenth Avenue. Couple more blocks, we will hit the train tracks and end the walk. And just to give you a street sign check, we're still on Ovington Avenue. Now, what'll happen is when we get down to New Utrecht Avenue, if we were to continue across New Utrecht Avenue, it becomes 68th Street again. So, yeah. Strange but true. And another thing I didn't mention, I don't like to, I'm not knocking people's homes, but, this stretch of road is a very unassuming stretch of road as far as property. Nothing really stands out as far as, extremely nice homes or anything like that. Got this tiny home right up against this apartment building. I hear music, and I hope that that music doesn't make it onto my track too much, because then I will literally get hit with a copyright. It'll pick up some, the YouTube algorithm will pick up some words and say, oh, the whole song is in your video. We detected the entire song in your video, even though it only played for like 5 seconds. It's very quiet today. It is Sunday. Just extremely quiet in this neighborhood on a Sunday. It's pretty quiet every day, but it's more lively during the weekdays. There go the train tracks of the D line. But look, guys, you guys can see what I'm wearing today. Look at that. Oh, those are some wild one-way windows. You can see what I'm wearing. I did bring my jacket with me. It was cool down by the shore. It was like, it's like a funhouse mirror, right? It's like a, I don't know. Makes me look a little fat, I guess. Now, this is an interesting looking piece of property. This house is like stuck right in here. It's got this curve and then flat and then flush right up against the wall of the next building over. There goes the D train heading to Coney Island. Just left the 71st Street train station. Wait a minute. No, it's pulling into the 71st Street train station. That's right. Yeah, that's pulling into 71st Street. So to my right, where it was going to 71st Street station, and to my left is the 62nd Street train station, where you can also grab the N line. So we're going to end the walk over here. This is where the, I believe this is like the car wash. This is where the car wash is, I believe. What I'll do is I'll end it. I don't know if it's over here on the other side of the train tracks, but what I'll do is I'll end it to show you guys the street sign changes back to 68th Street. Fifteenth Avenue. We'll do a little street sign check there. You see right there, it says Ovington Avenue. Actually, it says it over here too. Yep, this is the car wash. One of the few mechanical car washes in the area that are left. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for taking the walk. This is our first walk back after my break. And just to show you, it says Ovington Avenue right there. See that? But we're going to end it on 68th Street right after I get past these cars. Here we go. There you go. So it becomes 68th Street again. You see that? Look. All right, guys. New Utrecht Avenue and Ovington or 68th. You take your pick. Thanks for tagging along, and I will catch everyone on the next walk. Take care and bye-bye.